You're listening to Both Sides of the Front Porch. Two Southern voices, two different perspectives, one real conversation. Pull up a chair. It's real talk, y'all.
Hey, y'all, I'm Tammy.
And I'm Edward.
And we are both sides of the Front Porch.
Welcome back, y'all, to the second edition of Both Sides of the Front Porch. I'm Edward.
And I'm Tammy.
And we are both sides of the front porch. So this week, pull up a rocking chair, pour you some sweet tea or a stiff drink.
You're going to need it.
Because today we're jumping into a topic that still gets people riled up for some reason. It still gets them all worked up, and that's gay marriage.
Yeah.
Why does it bother so many people still? Why just caring for someone, loving someone, and having the same legal protections as straight people, why does that bother people so much? Why are some people still mad at it?
Maybe it's because it's something they don't understand. And if it's something that you don't understand, then sometimes that could cause you to be angry and not be open-minded and think about it from both sides of the front porch.
I feel like I understand I hear what you're saying, but I feel like a lot of people don't want to understand it because they weren't taught about gay marriage. They feel biblically it is not the right thing.
Maybe not so much biblically, morally. Well, yeah, I guess you could say biblically and morally.
Biblically. Yeah, for sure, biblically. And I know you come from a Christian household, and your dad was a pastor and mom was a minister and all that. So how do you, getting personal, of course, and that's what we're going to do here at Both Sides of the Front Porch. We're really going to lay it out on the line. So how was it talked about in your household, like gay marriage or homosexuality?
That really wasn't to the forefront of anything that we ever talked about, I don't ever remember sitting down because we were a very traditional family. Mom, dad, I have a younger brother, very traditional. Church on Sunday morning, church on Sunday night, church on Wednesday night, church on Friday and Saturday, singing somewhere. So just a very traditional household. So that really wasn't in the forefront. It wasn't in our face. So it wasn't really anything that we had to talk about.
Yeah. Well, I'm not a very
traditional kind of guy.
Well, traditional kind of guy, that too, but I'm not very religious.
Right.
However, growing up, my mom had us in vacation Bible school. We would go to church on Wednesdays. The church we went to was Selma Baptist Church in Woodruff, South Carolina, a little small little church. We lived in this little community, and all the people that lived in that community went to Selma Baptist Church. But here's my impression and what I remember about church. Very judgmental. I remember walking in, and we were poor growing up, like dirt poor. When I say we were poor, my mom was a single parent from most of our childhood, and she worked 2 jobs to take care of her 3 kids. And one of those 3 kids got pregnant when she was 14 and had a baby when she was 15, therefore leaving my mom to raise a 4th kid. So we were poor. So going to church, we were wearing whatever we had, and a lot of that was jeans and clothes that might have some stains on them or whatever. And I can remember it like it was yesterday, walking up the steps of that church and walking in, and when they see us walk in, they just kind of look at us and like give us that side eye because we weren't dressed up like all the other people that went to church.
Right.
But that my memory of,
because your mom worked 2 jobs.
well, yes, she did, bless her heart. But I don't know, my impression of my memory of church
when you say
was
small church, are you saying like 50 people, 500 people?
I would say probably 50 to 60 people,
Yeah,
or
that
something like
was
that.
about my church.
But I remember being judged because of what we were wearing, and we didn't have the nice fancy clothes on like the other people.
Right.
And then on top of that, here's little gay Edward going to church, and I can remember feeling like I was gay when I was 5 years old, as far back as I can remember. And then as I continued to get older, I'm like, oh my gosh, I knew what gay was. So then going to church and listening to the preacher, and when I say they would preach about homosexuality, like this preacher was up there preaching like homosexuality is going to, and I'm sitting there like, oh my God, he knows.
Going to hell.
Why am I even here? But I didn't have a choice. I had to go. My mom made us go.
Yeah.
But I'm sitting there being lectured to because I'm gay. So I think a lot of people's mindset about gay marriage is because of how they are raised. It's what they're taught. And they don't want to know anything different about it. No,
Right.
it is what it is. Just like you're taught that there's a God, or Christianity, you're taught that. You know that because of what you were taught, right?
Faith-based too.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So a lot of, in my mind, and tell me your opinion, of course, but in my mind, people have their opinion about gay marriage based on what they were taught.
And of course, we all have our own opinions, obviously, and that's what we're here to talk about, the different sides of it. It was never really, like I said, I never really thought about it. I remember, but this right here is another example of, I went to school in the city of Atlanta. You went to school in a small town in South Carolina. And I remember being in 8th grade, and I was the preacher's kid. And you want to talk about a stigma? You're the preacher's daughter, so
Right.
of course we're wild. We're out here doing the thing. That wasn't me. So I wasn't your typical preacher's kid. And in my opinion, it's the deacon's children that are worse, not us preacher's kids. I remember I went to school in Atlanta, and we would have you wouldn't go into the cafeteria except for to get your food. Occasionally people would sit inside, but for the most part we would sit outside. And I remember sitting in a group of girls, and there was a couple of different girls that we were sitting there talking about. You talk about your family and you're getting to know kids. You're in 8th or 9th grade, and their mothers were lesbian couples, and they were married, but they weren't married,
Right.
but I mean they lived a married
together
life, a married lifestyle. And so I mean once again, huge difference being in the city, because it is more accepted. It's not really in your face.
Yeah.
It is what it is. She has 2 moms. Oh, he has 2 dads, or vice versa.
And this was when? What year?
Why do you want to know that? This is going to know my age. So this is in the mid-'80s.
Huh.
Yeah, probably 84, 85.
See, I just don't even, I feel like back in that time period for me, I don't feel like anybody was out. I'm sure they were, but just me living in Podunk, Woodruff, South Carolina, I didn't feel like there was anybody that was out of the closet in the 80s. I mean, I'm sure, I know that for sure that they were, but you're talking about this lesbian couple, they were out.
They were out, yeah.
Yeah.
They had children.
Yeah.
But I mean, it was just like, she has 2 moms.
Yeah. Well, it's intriguing to me that you were so religious and grew up in such a religious household, Dad being a preacher, and it really wasn't ever a big topic of conversation because we were beat down back in the 80s. The gay people, the AIDS epidemic, and all of that.
No, that was huge. I remember even being in the city, it's like, this is coming from gays.
Right.
And I remember thinking, really? Because we would talk about it. It's like, don't use somebody else's toothbrush. What if you get their toothbrush mixed up with yours? I remember these conversations. And I remember,
it goes back to education. People not know.
Definitely. And I remember in health education class, they talking about AIDS and how you're not going to get it from a toilet seat. You're not going to get it from somebody's toothbrush.
Right. Well, I think that with gay marriage, just to kind of back up for a second, my husband Scott and I, we've been together for 27 years. That is, in the straight world, that's 50 years. Gay people usually don't stay together that long.
Right.
I don't know why we have that reputation, but 27 years.
If you combined all 3 of my marriages, I don't think I even hit 27 years with all 3 of them.
Hilarious. Well, when we met back in 1998, I was just a baby gay trying to figure out my place in life. I was young. I was 20 years old. I'm almost 21 years old. So from the time that Scott and I got together, my beginning of my 20s, and now I'm 49 years old, I've been with Scott for more than half of my life. So, and you can't say that about a lot of straight couples, but when the U.S. Supreme Court finally legalized gay marriage back on June the 26th of 2015, it really changed everything for the gay community, because we then felt like, wow, we belong, we fit in, we can have the same legal rights as straight people do.
Right.
We're equal. That's
And
how we
it's not
felt.
like, and here's another thing, it's not like you're going, I mean, okay, so you and Scott got married. You have a marriage certificate, all the things that a straight couple would have. And just like with straight couples, they don't go door to door and say, hey, I'm Tammy and this is my husband and we just got married. You're not going door to door. It's not like you're like,
But
you know what I'm saying?
I hear what you're saying, but you bring up a point. You've never had to do that. You've never had to think about that, where gay people do.
Right.
You know, we've had to fight. We've had to protest. We've had to do all the things just to fight for basic human rights. Straight people haven't.
Right.
And by no means am I saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying you don't understand that, or you haven't had to do that. You haven't had to think about the things that we had to think about in the gay community.
Like what are we going to do when we get into our later years in life? If we didn't have, if you weren't allowed to get married, then you would have no say so if he got sick and was in the hospital.
Yeah, I actually made some notes, and that's one of the things down here in my notes that I made about it was why legalization of gay marriage matters. It matters because before gay marriage was legal, I was just considered a friend legally to Scott. So now being married, I'm able to legally make medical decisions for Scott should I have to. When we first moved to Atlanta, Scott had a heart attack. I took him to Grady Hospital and I was asked to leave the room by the doctor. I pitched a fit, showed my ass big time, had a crazy mess going on inside the hospital. I'm like, fuck you are not going to tell me to leave my partner's bedside. We might not be married, so that's not something you ever had to think about,
right,
or any straight person had to think about. But when we were married, we're like, damn, we don't have to worry about that anymore. So we can make medical decisions should something happen, and it's legal now for us to do that. And also insurance and taxes. We couldn't file taxes together, didn't have the same tax benefits as straight couples did.
Right.
So being married, you have that same legal right.
So what about Social Security? Will you be able to collect each other's
as married?
Social
Yeah, I mean, same as a straight couple.
Security.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Before you couldn't. Adoption, we couldn't adopt. Retirement benefits, we didn't have access to each other's retirement benefits before we were legally married, unless you jumped through hoops and hurdles. And even then, you know, even if you got attorneys involved and got wills, that's not going to cover you for all these things. You know, so now we don't have to worry about that. End of life decisions, we never want to have to think about that, but that's something that I didn't have the legal right to make for Scott. And
you dedicate your whole life to each other,
right? You know,
and that covenant.
Well, and here's the thing: when Scott and I got married, we had already at that point been together for 17 years. So to me, the only reason that I felt the need to get married was to make it legal, to have all the same benefits and the same legal rights that we need and deserve. Otherwise, I already felt like we were married. We had been together 17 years.
Right.
And when Scott and I got...
Do you feel like anything changed afterwards?
Not a feeling between us, no. But I do feel like, now I have the same rights that I should have always had. But I felt more secure, you know, about our life. Because at that point I knew I have now the legal rights that any spouse would have with their partner. And I never felt that way before. So I did feel differently, you know, in that perspective. But Scott and I got married on my birthday, November the 20th of 2015. And that was 10 years ago.
Right. I can remember that because it's your birthday, my dad's birthday, your and Scott's anniversary, my brother and my sister-in-law's anniversary. So lots of things happen on the November 20th.
Yeah, it's a really important, special day. Yeah. But I just think that 27 years with the person that you love and care about, it shouldn't be a big deal to anybody if we're married. But you know what? It's a struggle to be with somebody for that long. At this point, I'm like, we deserve an Olympic medal or a free Botox for life or something, whichever comes first.
Gotta have that Botox.
Yeah, but I like to talk about it to people that are watching or listening to us that might not understand why gay marriage is so important. But what frustrates me so bad is there's still people fighting it. There's still people to this very day fighting it. Just last Friday or 2 Fridays ago, Kim Davis, she is the woman out of Kentucky, I believe, and I'm sorry I don't have all my notes related to her, but if you know, you know. Anyway, she's the lady out of Kentucky, and when gay marriage was legalized, she refused to issue marriage license to gay couples. Went to court, and they said, you have to issue marriage license to gay couples. It is the law. You have to do it. She still refused. So
Sounds like to me she just needs to get a new job.
I agree, 100%.
Lord.
But they sent her to prison, like sent her to jail. I don't know if you call that prison. I guess it's jail. Sent her to jail, and she was jailed for it because she said it was against her Christian beliefs to do that. She ended up having to pay $350,000. That was, good Lord, how many years ago? She just now presented it to the Supreme Court again to try and overturn gay marriage. They heard the case 2 Fridays ago, the Supreme Court did, and we don't know which ones, I guess, but the majority of the Supreme Court said, no, we're not taking this case up. It's settled. We're not going to do it. Now, did the gay community think that was going to happen? No, we did not. We were terrified. We were scared because guess what? The Supreme Court has overturned settled cases before. Case in point, abortion. When, Donald Trump ran for office and it was his decision to change the makeup of the Supreme Court. He said he was going to do it. And any president that has the opportunity to sit a Supreme Court justice, they're going to sit who they think is going to benefit them or their party or whatever. But he sat Supreme Court justices who were going to side to overturn abortion. So when abortion was overturned, we're looking at each other in the gay community like, oh shit, we're next. And then when Kim Davis petitioned this to the Supreme Court and they said, no, we're not going to deal with this and decided not to take up the case, we were relieved.
I can imagine. So, and if you look at it though, look at it like this, if you're willing to go to jail for something that you believe so strongly in, go to jail, honey. Whether it's right, whether it's wrong, but if you're passionate about that, I mean, she's obviously passionate about it, but you as a gay man should also have the right to be just as passionate for what you want.
Right. That's one thing you can say. I've never really thought about that side of it.
Yeah.
Both sides of the porch. I've never thought about it.
Yeah.
She was so passionate about it that she said, fuck y'all, I'm going to jail. Send me to jail. I hate the gays so much
that I'm going to spend time in jail. I do not like orange or black and white or whatever color they wear. When I worked in the jail, they wore blue. Trustees wore black and white. But anyway, I don't know. I like my own home, my own little routine, my own shower. But she said, nope, I do not believe in this, so I'm going to go to jail. Okay. So she's obviously very passionate about that.
Yeah. Well, kind of backing up for a moment, the battle is over for this moment, but the war's not over. We're still having to fight every day for the same rights as the straight folk have. Yeah. The Texas Supreme Court just recently made a ruling that said judges in Texas no longer have to marry a gay couple if they believe it is against their religious beliefs. They don't have to marry.
It doesn't even have to be a religious belief. It could just be your own belief. It doesn't have to have anything to do with religion. It's how you feel. Because, I mean, let's be honest.
But that's why the majority of people have the opinion about gays is because it's all biblical. It's all about them. The Lord said, man shall not lie with another man. Hibbity-bibbity. And it's Adam and Eve, not Adam and Eve.
No, I haven't heard that.
It is all biblical.
But I will say.
That's why so many preachers preach about homosexuality.
Right. I get it.
I mean,
I'm a preacher's daughter from the South, so we traveled. We went to so many different churches all over the place, and you would hear some. I don't ever remember my father. Like if I think back of all the sermons, I don't ever remember my daddy preaching about homosexuality, what you wear to church. He wasn't a clothesline preacher. If you came in straight off the street, come on in, you're welcome.
Yeah. Well, that's
different than a lot of churches, because a lot of churches are like,
Yeah.
Oh, did you see what she had on?
People that know me know I'm all about starting a new business. I'm an entrepreneur, and I'll start a business in a minute.
Hot minute.
So my next business is I'm going to start a church, and I'm going to be the treasurer. I'm going to be the treasurer. I'll be collecting your funds from you. But anyway, being serious again, why does it matter? Why does it bother so many people? Why does somebody somewhere start clutching their pearls like Jesus personally hired them to manage the marriage license? And here's why. What they'll say, it's against tradition. It's not what marriage used to mean. It goes against religion. Or one of my favorites, I don't have a problem with it. I just don't want to see it. Honey, close your eyes.
Well, I don't want to see, I don't want to see a straight couple. If I'm at the movie theater, I do not want to see a straight couple. I don't want to see a gay couple. I'm there to see a movie. I don't want to see you doing whatever it is you do behind your doors in public.
Listen, if I go to Walmart, I don't want to see them folks in Walmart wearing Crocs and Daisy Dukes. But you know what?
I'm a Crocker. I wear Crocs to work.
But you know that's literally what you hear from people.
Right.
And again, I'll say this, Tammy. I think that we have made, and I say we, the gay community, we've made progress. We've progressed politically speaking. We've had to take a lot of steps backwards in the last few years with the Trump administration. Not saying Donald Trump 100%, but he spearheaded a lot of it. And now you've heard, and again, not being too political because I know we disagree in politics, but with this Trump administration, have you ever heard as much talk about transgender people, gay people, all the things that you hear about our community? You haven't. You haven't heard ever in any presidential history have you heard this much chatter and conversation about the gays. And it has set us back. I'll just say that. So we were so grateful and so thankful when the Supreme Court said to Donald Trump and his cronies and said, no, we are not taking this up.
I don't know, because I don't know what her relationship is with the president or whatever. Here's what I think. I think that it needs to be personal. If you don't believe in it, then you don't believe in it. But if you believe in it, if you're so passionate about it that you're going to go to jail, then go to jail.
I just don't understand
but
how people.
I think that you need to be open-minded, and if you and your husband want to live you and your husband's life, then y'all live your life. And if I'm never getting married again, I'm just going to put that out there. No, I'm just kidding. I might.
Yeah, you
I
will.
might.
You
I
will.
don't know.
Well, honey, Kim Davis would flip her ugly hairstyle. She's got like a 1970s hairstyle that's never.
She wouldn't like me, I'm sure.
No. It's not like that. It's like a fried, dyed, bad perm that's, it's horrible.
I don't know anything about her. I'm going to have to look her
You've
up.
got to look her up. Google her. Look at her. Kim Davis. She would flip her wig if she even knew half of my life with my husband and my partner. I mean, literally, she would probably go run and hide under a rock somewhere if she
Put my
even.
glasses on for this one.
But
It
look,
might scare me.
Look, we don't have a whole lot of time left, but
Right.
just look at her hairstyle, and then we'll talk about the rest of it later. Yeah, see, the hairstyle itself that's what should be illegal, is that hairstyle.
Bless her.
That's a bless your heart moment right there. The
Bless
hairstyle is
her.
what should be illegal.
Yeah.
But here's your bless your heart moment with this whole situation is the lady who says, but if we let gay people get married, what's next? People marrying their pets? I've literally heard people say that on TV. It's like, are you kidding me?
I do believe that would be illegal.
Sonny, my husband has a job, a credit score, and can operate a washing machine. Your dog cannot. Still drinks out of the toilet.
And your husband makes dinner, and it's so good. But at the end of the day, I believe that we live in a free country. So you should be able to get married to whoever you want to get married to and live your life. And it's none of my business.
Listen.
Just like what I do is none of your business. I don't put myself out in the street. I'm a big girl. I'm not going to.
It is my business because I'm nosy.
Yeah, you're right.
I don't want to get fired from my day job.
That's our Dolly.
I know, that's our Dolly. We work at 9 to 5. But one of the people that I work very close to every single day, who's part of our leadership team, is very religious. She's adorable. I love her, and I'll be honest with you, I'm honored to work for her. I tell her that, and I tell everybody all the time. I try to learn from her every single day, because
she and I have very, very parallel views on
religion, politics, all of that. But I bring that up because I work with her closely every day, and she's very religious in the church. Every time the doors are open, like you, and her husband was, I think, the music ministry, or what do you call it?
Oh wow, the minister of music,
director or whatever. Anyway, I don't know all the details of it, but anyway, they're very involved in church, and I know that she doesn't approve.
Huge.
Yeah, I know she doesn't approve of gay marriage or gay, the gay lifestyle, or whatever you want to call it. But she's never one time made me feel like she looked down on me, or like she didn't respect me any more than she respected her daughter-in-law or anybody of the opposite lifestyle. I've always felt very respected by her, and she's willing to listen. She knows about my husband and my partner. She probably goes home and prays every night and to forgive me for my sins. But I'm sure she prays for everybody. But
I do.
My point of bringing that up is more people need to be like her. She doesn't agree with it, but she never has made me feel one single day like I was doing anything wrong, or like she was above me because of her religion.
Right.
And that's important.
Yeah. And I think that if you take a percentage of Christian people, you're going to find more like myself, like her. And not the ones that you see and who are like pushing it all out there and everything or whatever.
I agree. I think religion has kind of progressed. It's still confusing to me, and I don't really, we'll save that for another day.
It's your choice. It's your choice to live that lifestyle, and where it leads you, as long as you've lived a happy life,
Hold on a minute.
A happy life.
But it's not a choice, though. If it's a choice, you want to wake up in the morning and be gay with me?
No, I choose not to be gay.
No, you don't.
But if I wanted to, I could.
No, you could not. You could not. It's not a choice. I can tell you being gay, she's not gay. I can tell you being gay, it is not a choice. I would have never, ever in my life chosen to be ridiculed, beat up, spit on, called a queer, a gay rod, a faggot, ostracized, thoughts of suicide. I would have never chosen that. And trust me, if I would have had the ability to change that thought process and to choose to be straight, I would have. I would not have gone through what I went through my whole life. I wouldn't have chosen that, And I don't know anybody that would have chosen to. You just don't make your family proud. You don't feel like you're part of the family. Who would choose it? It is not a choice. I was born this way. You may not agree with that, and some of you watching or listening may not agree with that, but I challenge you, if you think it's a choice, then why don't you choose to walk in my shoes, a gay person's shoes, for, I would just say, a day. Be 100% gay. Do it all. All of the things.
All of the things?
All of the things. Be gay. If it's a choice, be gay.
I don't think I like the way you party, so I don't want to choose that.
I'm talking about all the things.
Yeah, no.
So yeah, anyway. I mean,
I'm going to choose to remain straight.
Yeah.
I'm going to choose to remain a straight, praying, Christian, Southern woman.
Who is very open-minded and understanding and respectful of everybody. And that's what makes you so special and so Tammy.
I'm so Tammy. And that is not a Tammy. You remember, now I do you remember the Tammy
Faye Baker?
Yes, I did not want to say that.
They lived in Hendersonville, North Carolina.
Shut up.
Scott has been inside of their home.
No.
Tammy Faye Baker and Jim Baker. Scott's been inside their home. But the struggle we have, Tammy, with gay marriage is there's still people trying to reverse gay marriage and gay equality or marriage equality. Religious exemptions are used to deny services. So people are now being able to say, oh, it's against my religion, and you can deny services to me because it's a religious exemption now. So people are now being able to legally discriminate against the gay community due to religious exemptions. It's happening as recently as 2 weeks ago in Texas.
Time with church and state.
There is no separation. The Constitution calls for separation of church and state.
And it should be.
And it's not.
It should be.
Yeah, I agree 100% because nobody agrees the same way with religions. That's why there's so many different denominations and different types of religion out there.
I do believe that there's so many different religions out there, but at the end of the day, God is God. You know, however you want to look at it, God is God,
and a sin is, if you believe in that, a sin is a sin.
Oh, absolutely. And there's no big sin like, oh my goodness, she drank her little alcohol drink on Friday night. That's a sin.
But isn't it funny?
Just as much as it is a sin to get in your car and speed, because that
she
is
just said speed was a sin, y'all.
It's breaking the law of the land. A sin is a sin. It doesn't matter. You're not a worse person because you murder somebody or you get arrested for drugs
or
cigarettes are legal.
But it's still, you're harming your body.
You are that.
It's just interesting.
Temple.
Well, it's just interesting how people can pick out certain sins that they want to. Yeah. People can pick out certain sins that they want to focus on. And
when I sit in my recliner and I'm watching my TV on Friday night and I'm eating that tub of ice cream, that is defiling the temple.
Well, like I said, the biggest sin of them all is Kim Davis's hair.
Oh my goodness.
No wonder she hadn't been able to upgrade that hairstyle because she owes that $350,000 still.
But you have to respect her because she is passionate about this topic and she's going to fight for it just like you fight for the things you want. We're both fighting. It's just different sides of the porch, as we say.
I agree.
Whether it's right or wrong,
but I guess
you're still fighting for what you're believing in. It's your right to fight.
But my side of it is she can believe it all day long, but she was refusing to follow the law,
which is a sin.
She was refusing to follow the law.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. And she refused to issue marriage license, and she refused to follow the law. So, whether she believed it was a sin or not, that's her personal belief. Yeah. She still has to follow the law. Being a Christian doesn't make you above the law.
Yeah.
I guess in closing, Scott and I made it 27 years, and on November the 20th, my birthday in 2015, we finally got the same rights as everyone else. We didn't ask for special treatment. We truly just wanted equal treatment.
Yeah.
And
another thing that I respect so much too is you got what you wanted. You were able to get married so that you could share the rest of your life as husbands.
One thing I was going to say, you said you got what we wanted. It's not what we wanted. It's what we deserved. But
it is what you wanted.
Right.
You deserved it and you wanted that and you got it.
Right.
So you should be happy about that.
100%.
And
we are. And the struggle for us, though, is still the fight. Yeah. And we're scared that we're not going to have it.
And in the 2 years that I've known both of you, of course, I've known you longer because of the work situation, but I come to your house, I'm welcomed into your home. And I've never thought, it's never been one of those situations. Because you're people, you're my people, you're my friends, and you have rights now to each other, just like I would have if I had a husband.
Yeah, and we have now since 2015. It's just the fact that the reason I wanted to talk about this topic is because it literally just went before the Supreme Court again 10 years after it was legalized. Mm-hmm. So you still have people like Kim Davis and others who are still fighting every single day for us not to have the same equal rights. But we're still fighting, honey. You can't keep a gay down, honey. We gonna fight to the end.
Adjust your tiara, honey. Period. Let's go.
Yes. All right, y'all. Well, that was it for this week's edition of Both Sides of the Front Porch. I hope you enjoyed it, learned something. You probably didn't agree with what everything I said or everything that Tammy said, but hey, that's why we're here. So follow us on our website. You can go to frontporchbs.com. You can follow us there and see all of our social channels, Spotify, iHeartRadio, all of that on our website. Again, frontporchbs.com. All right, guys, see you next time.
It's Real Talk, y'all.